Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT grammar questions out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problems that we are about to work on are the ones that you will find on page number 719. Please turn to it, page 719, and today is our lesson number 27. These are a set of 11 questions. As I always remind you when we get to this particular section, these are a set of 11 questions, and therefore they are arranged in the order of difficulty from 1 through 11. We did the first 5 on the previous page, on page number 718. Yesterday, those were easy questions. Today we're going to do the medium and the hard one. The ones that you find in the left-hand column, the first column, those are medium, and in the second column, they are hard. Let's get going. Number 6. It says, the mountain's summit having been reached, the mountain summit having been reached, the whole thing is underlined, the climbers gaze down. As far as we are concerned, that's the end of the sentence. As I always have told you, concentrate on the juicy bits. There is no need to read the rest of it. There is no need to waste your time dealing with the rest of it. This is it as far as we are concerned. Sentence reads, the mountain summit having been reached, the climbers look down, or gaze down if you like. What can we do with it? Don't look at the answer choices. Your answer choices should be covered with your hand. Do not look at the answer choices. Keep the answer choices covered. Do not look at them. And let's fix the sentence ourselves first. Once we have fixed the sentence the way we like it, then and only then we lift our hand and go through the 5 answer choices and find the one that comes closest to it. The reason I said 4 a second ago is because if you think that it needs to be changed, which means the answer is not A, because if you like the way it's written, the answer would be A, then there is no need to change anything. The answer is A. And if you feel that it needs to be changed, if you change it, if you fixed it, then of course you're down to 4 choices, B, C, D, or E. Let's get going here. The mountain summit having been reached, I don't like it. How about mountain summit having been reached, the climbers look down? How about when they reached the mountain summit, the climbers look down, or climbers gaze down. There you go. Now we have fixed it. When they reach the mountain summit, the climbers gaze down. Let's lift our hand now. We're going to find the one answer choice that comes closest to it. Do you understand? We're not necessarily looking for something that has the exact same words. It may have it, but we're looking for something that comes closest to it. B, C, D, and E. B says the summit of the mountains being reached. That's not it. C says at the mountain summit. We do not start with at the mountain. We said when they reach the mountain summit. There you go. When they reach the mountain summit, the answer is D. And E says when having reached. That's not what we said. When we said when they reach the mountain summit, the answer is D. Number 7. Number 7, again, do not look at the answer choices. Keep your answers. Your answer choices must be covered with one hand. You must have a pencil in the other hand. It says, whether the ancient Egyptians actually sailed or did not to South America remains uncertain. And again it goes on and on, but somebody's expedition demonstrated that they could have done so. All of that is the boring bits. Always remember, our job, the reason why we're doing this problem is to train ourselves as to how to spot the juicy bits, how to concentrate on the juicy bits, and how to ignore the rest. As far as we're concerned, this is the end of the sentence. That's all we need here. It says, when they when the ancient Egyptian, whether the ancient Egyptian actually sailed or did not to South America or South Africa, whatever that is, South America I believe it was, remains uncertain. How can we fix this sentence? Does it need fixing? The answer is yes, it needs fixing. How can we fix it? Don't look at the answer choices. This is how we'll fix it. Whether the ancient Egyptian actually sailed to South America remains uncertain. We do not need these three words. That's it. Get rid of these three words. That's all. That's how we fixed it. All of these three words are superfluous, they are unneeded, they are unwanted, they are unrequired, they are gratuitous. Let's find the word gratuitous when we learned it. I'm looking at my vocabulary list here. As I always told you, it doesn't hurt to work on our vocabulary at the same time. The word was G-R-A-T-U-I-T-O-U-E, gratuitous, which means unneeded, unwanted, unrequired, unwarranted, uncalled for, superfluous. And we learned this word on day number 47. Just type in SAT vocabulary words, day 47, SAT vocabulary words, day 47, and you will see the word gratuitous, and I'm guessing that we probably covered this word on the same day because they are synonym. So all of these three words were gratuitous, they were unneeded, they were unrequired, uncalled for, unnecessary. That's it, we're done. Now we're going to go through the answer choices one by one, and we're going to find the one that comes closest to it. Let's get going. B, C, D, and E. Remember, we have not changed the sentence at all. All we have done here is to get rid of the three words that are underlined or did not. This part. The rest is still the same. Let's see what B says. Now B does start out with the word whether. Let's see what it says the rest. Whether in actuality. That's not what we have here. It's whether the ancient Egyptian actually sailed is what we're looking for. C says the actuality of the sailing. That's not what we have. D says that the ancient Egyptian actually sailed. So here instead of whether they have the word that the ancient Egyptian actually sailed to South America remains uncertain. This comes very close to it. D comes very close to it. It's not a definite no. I'm going to keep it. And E says the ancient Egyptian, their actual sailing. That's ridiculous. The ancient Egyptian, their actual sailing. That's ridiculous. So all they have done here is instead of using the word whether, they use the word that. That the ancient Egyptian actually sailed to South America remains uncertain. There you go. The answer is D. As I always reminded you, we're not doing this exercise. We're not fixing the sentence on our own first without looking at the answer choices in the hope that the correct answer will contain the exact same words. That's not the point. Our job is to actually fix the sentence so that it's easier for us to spot the right answer by looking for something that comes closest to it. And we have done that. The answer is D. Let's go on to the next one then. In 1969, Baldwin High School defeated Rose Academy in the district's first televised quiz. Baldwin High School defeated Rose Academy in the quiz, in the first televised quiz game. Even so, all of this is underlined. Even the word game is underlined here. They did not win again. Until 1983. Let's see what we can do here. Let's read the sentence one more time. The way it's written. I've ignored the boring bits, the bits that we're not interested in. As far as we're concerned, the sentence reads: the Baldwin High School defeated Rose Academy in the quiz game. Even so, they did not win again until 1983. What they're trying to say is that they won the quiz whenever they won before in the beginning, I did not write down in 1969. They won it in 1969. Baldwin High School defeated Rose Academy, but they did not manage to do it again until 1983 is what the sentence is trying to say here. So it should read, in 1969, Baldwin High School defeated Rose Academy in the quiz game. However, and this they part is silly. This is wrong. What does this pronoun refer to? This plural pronoun they, what does it refer to? It refers to Baldwin High School. Baldwin High School is singular. It should be it. You understand? My high school has 3 rooms. And you will say, it has 3 rooms. You're not going to say, they have 3 rooms, because high school is singular. It should be it. So what they're trying to say here is that 1969 Baldwin High School, whatever the name was, I forget now, Baldwin High School defeated Rose Academy in the quiz game. However, it did not win again until 1983. So we have gotten rid of the word even so, replaced it with however, and then this day should be it. So these are the 2 words we are looking for, however and it. This part is fine. Let's look at the answer choices. Let's lift our hand and see what we can do. B, C, D, and E. B says we have the word game, obviously, they all have the word game, and then we're looking for however and it. It's C, B is not it, neither is C. C says they, D says as a result. That's not what we have. There you go. Instead of the word, they have the word game. In E they have the word game, and then they have but and then it. Instead of the word but, we have the word however, which is close enough. We use the word however, they use the word but. It's close enough. We're looking for the one answer choice that comes closest to what we put down, and that answer is E. You understand? If the words that you actually write down when you're fixing the sentence happen to be the exact same words as you find in the right answer, then that's a fluke. You got lucky there. That wasn't the point. Our point is to come closest to the right answer as possible, so that we can quickly spot the bloody thing without having to spend an inordinate amount of time reading the rest of them very carefully. You understand? Answer is E. I just used a vocab word from the SAT, and I'm not sure if we actually learned it. Just give me a second, I'll look it up. Under I said without having to spend inordinate amount of time, which means unreasonable, excessive amount of time. Inordinate amount of time, excessive amount of time, unreasonable amount of time, without having to spend inordinate amount of time dealing with the other 4 answer choices. So that's the point. No, we haven't learned it, but that's the word there. Maybe I'll cover it in the future vocabulary lessons when I get to it. That's what it is. Number 9. Isolated by the sea, the Aboriginal people of Australia, the Aboriginal people of Australia had developed a unique culture. That's it. As far as we're concerned, this is the end of the sentence. It says, it reads, the Aboriginal people of Australia, I believe that's how it's pronounced, of Australia had developed a unique culture. In other words, instead of saying all of this part, we can easily replace this thing. We can easily replace this thing and make it even easier for ourselves by using a pronoun they. Now, question is, how do you fix the sentence? Sentence reads, they had developed a unique culture. How does one fix it? To which the answer is, one does not. It's a beautifully written sentence. Of course, I'm being silly. It's a very simple sentence. They had developed a unique culture is fine the way it is. There is nothing wrong with it. The answer is A. This sentence does not need fixing. They had developed a unique culture. They had developed a unique culture. Of course it's fine. There is nothing wrong with it. Number 10. Number 10 is it? Oh yes, number 10, the penultimate one. Number 10. Penultimate one, the second to the last one. Although criticized by a few for her daredevil aviation escapades, although criticized by a few for her daredevil aviation escapades. I put the word escapades in the capital letter because we're going to learn it in a second. But right now, let's not worry about it. Let's not turn this into a vocabulary lesson. Let's first fix the sentence. Most people viewed Amelia Earhart as a skillful pilot. The problem with this sentence is that as soon as you start out by saying, although criticized by a few for her daredevil aviation, if you start out sentence by saying, although he's admired by many for his honesty, listen carefully, I'm making it up now, okay? I'm making it up impromptu on the spur of the moment. It just came out of nowhere. I'm just giving an example. Although admired by many for his honesty, what would you expect to hear next? I don't know about you, but my ears expect to hear immediately the name of the person I'm talking about. Although admired by many for his honesty, John is not very punctual. You see, he's admired for his honesty, but the guy has no sense of time. Although admired by many or most, although admired by most people for his honesty, immediately you would expect to hear, you would not to know who I'm talking about. John is in fact very lazy. We expect to hear a person's name right after that. The same thing is going on here. Although criticized by a few for her daredevil aviation escapades, and if you don't know what escapade means, don't worry about that right now. What we expect to hear after this point here is her name. Amelia Earhart is viewed by most as a skillful pilot. Amelia Earhart, her name has to come next, is viewed by most as a skillful pilot. We would expect to hear her name. Let's go through the answer choices. B says most people view. No, we agreed, we understood that her name has to come immediately after that. That's not it. C does not start out with her name. D and E both start out with her name. So let's look at both of them. Amelia Earhart was viewed by most people as a skillful pilot. That's exactly what we have here. Amelia Earhart is viewed by most people, or was viewed, whatever it is, doesn't matter, was viewed by many or by most as a skillful pilot. Let's see what E says. Amelia Earhart, a skillful pilot in the view of, no, that's not it. The answer is D. The answer is D. Let's do the next one. Although he is very poor, Michael is very generous. You would expect to hear his name. Michael is considered by most as a generous person. We would not say, although he's a very poor person, most people consider Michael. We don't leave the Michael until the very end. Michael has to come immediately after that because I want to know who you're talking about. Do you understand? Number 11. Among the Inuit people of the Arctic Canada, I believe it's poetry contests are held to settle conflicts that might otherwise be disruptive to families and communities. So what they're trying to say here is that they hold poetry contest to settle conflicts that might otherwise be disruptive. This contest that we're talking about, if we decide to hold this contest in some other fashion, like we normally do, which is to start a war, it says it might be disruptive to families and communities. How would we fix this sentence? They hold poetry contest to settle. I shouldn't underline things because when we underline it, it has very special meaning. Where's my pointer? They hold poetry contests to settle conflicts that might otherwise be disruptive. How would we fix this sentence? How would one fix it? The answer is, one would not. This sentence is fine the way it is. There is nothing wrong with it. They settle conflicts. They hold poetry contests to settle conflicts that might otherwise be disruptive. That's all. The answer is A. It's fine the way it is. There is nothing wrong with this sentence. There is nothing wrong with this sentence. In the previous question, in number 10, I talked about learning the word escapade. We never talked about it. I forgot. What's an escapade? An escapade is mischievous. How does one spell mischievous? Mischievous or naughty adventure. An escapade is a mischievous, full of mischief, full of naughtiness. It's a mischievous, naughty adventure. An escapade is an adventure that violates, if you like, the norms, the customs, the conventions, the mores. That's an escapade. An escapade is something that is usually naughty, full of mischief, something that violates customs, norms, traditions, conventions. Mores. Mores is something that we learned a long time ago. Mores does not have singular, it does not have plural, it's just mores. It is used in a plural form all the time. It doesn't have a singular is what I meant to say. Mores are conventions, norms. Similarly, norms doesn't have a singular, you see? Norms are norms, they're conventions. I'm looking at my M in my list here. I'm looking for M for mores. Day number 45. We learned this word in our vocabulary lessons on day number 45. Again, all you have to do if you're interested in learning this word, along with some other words to help you improve your vocabulary so that you can get a decent score, better score in the reading parts of the exam, all you have to do is type in SAT vocabulary words, day 45, and you will learn this word along with a whole bunch of other words. Do you understand? I'll see you tomorrow, okay? We're done with these 11 questions. Tomorrow we'll start a new type of questions which is on the next page there. Those are new type, they are different type, and therefore the scale of difficulty starts all over again from 1. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye now.